into place and work the other colors into the area until you are satisfied with the results. Do the darker colors first. They represent the deeper areas. The white provides the surf and lighter colors indicate shallower parts. Leave some of the tan of the board showing if you intend to make it into a beach. You'll have to use less sand later. If you want a scummy look, add some green or yellow. There are numerous ways to make water, but this is one of the quickest ways and it still looks pretty realistic. The materials I'll be using for the next section, which will be to create the decking on these three lower areas, is gumbo sticks, a long nose pliers, X-Acto knife, and a hot glue gun with the glue sticks. So the first thing we do is to break these sticks and make them look quite ragged, old, aged. To do that, take the long nose pliers, apply it on here, and just bend it. It's going to be uneven. That's exactly the way you want it for this particular project. If you were doing a decking for a different village, you probably would not want to use this technique. You'd be using different wood and it would be doing it a lot finer. So we took off the ends because we don't want them to be rounded. And then to make it look like it's aged and broken, just take the X-Acto knife and cut the edges so that it's uneven and looks like it's kind of worn. Next step will be to take these sticks, glue them down into position with the hot glue gun. And it doesn't have to be real neat because, again, you want it to be aged looking. You want these areas to be open in there because they're old and they're broken. And it's intentional. I'm going to do it a couple of different ways so you can have a choice of the different look that you want. But first off, this lower section is going to be done with just putting the sticks one right next to each other. I have the first row complete, but I don't know how much I need to put into the back row, so I'm going to take the house and put it there just as a test to see where this is going to fit on it. So now I know that I need to bring up some here, and I need to bring some up, maybe about 3 of them onto the back of that, and I won't worry about what's there. All I want to do with this part is to have enough so that the house is not listing. And I'm going to put one in the back here so that the house rests on it. And everything in here doesn't need to be done because the house is going to cover it. Now we'll put the house back just to see how it looks with all the other ones in place. And it's covering up the hole. There's enough room here to put accessories in front of it. For variety, the sticks in the second section were cut into 2 lengths to form planks. First, put a long one down, then a short. Alternate long and short until the area is covered. The carousel, being round, provides the opportunity for a third type of placement. Following a somewhat circular pattern puts more open space between the outer edges of the planks. Little ghosts, goblins, and witches must be careful not to get caught in the gaps. Again, the center doesn't have to be finished because the carousel will cover the opening, saving time and materials. However, for a more permanent display, you may want to use better wood and complete the entire area without the gaps for a newer appearance depending upon the buildings featured in that display. The next thing we need to do is to color this, and in order to do that I'm going to be using India ink because I wanted to have that same black tone for Halloween. If you were going to be doing another type of a display, you'd be doing something else. Now I'm just putting a drop of color in here because the stuff is very, very strong and you want a solution that's mostly water. As you can see, when I apply it, it's going to become very dark because probably there was a little bit more than should have been put in there. Actually, it's about right. If you want it to go a little bit darker, then we would be putting more color into it. And as you can see, we're seeing too much wood, so therefore I'm going to be putting some more color into it. To make it darker. That's a better color. But it's always good to test because you can't go lighter, you can always go darker. And it's not going to hurt to go paint the styrofoam either. It won't eat it. If you want it darker, just put more layers of paint on it. There may be some areas that you may want darker than others, so you just leave it so that it's an uneven color. Because with a Halloween theme, it will fit right in. Don't forget the edges. Because they're broken, they're going to stain faster. Another thing to remember is your building is going to be here. Therefore, you're more concerned with the outer areas than you are with the inner ones. A wash of paint will pick up the grain of the wood, whereas normal paint is more opaque and it will get more solid colors. That's why I like using the India ink on this. I've used a glove because India ink will stain anything that it comes in contact with. So make sure that you put something down to protect your surroundings if you don't want it anywhere else. And the more layers you put on it, the deeper the color is going to get. Now we're going to put some sand on to this area. I'm using some white glue a solution that's approximately 50% glue to 50% water. And I'm going to be applying it with a sponge. The reason for doing it with a sponge is so that I can do it quicker. One of those sponge brushes would also work. Covering a small amount of it first, and then I'll come back with some sand to make it a sandy beach. When it dries, the sand will be stuck to the beach, and it will look a lot sandier. You may even want to put some of it into the water so that it kind of joins the background styrofoam to the water. To cover up the transition area. I've used regular beach sand because it has got some dark areas in it and it's got some light areas. Note that it's not a very heavy coat. Because we want to leave some of that black showing through to give the same atmosphere as the rest of the display. Remember too that the boat will be over here, so that will be covering part of it, so we'd only have to go very thin there. It's the surrounding areas that you want to make sure are covered. Take your fingers and smooth it out so that it's more even. Treat the cave area the same way. Later, green Halloween lights will be placed in the back to give an eerie glow to the cave. A treasure chest intended for a fish aquarium with jewels hanging from it is perfect to represent the pirates' loot. Mixed colored beads and short strings of tiny Christmas garland will also be added later to the scene, as well as driftwood and skeletons. The dead-looking white and gray moss will block the light wires from sight. Where the sand is thicker, it will not stay with the board, so that when you do move it, you'll have to adjust for any fallout. But as you're looking at it now, it creates a nice difference when you have some of it as being a little bit thicker and some of it picking up the background of the black. And after the buildings are in, we can retouch some of these areas as well to make them look more natural. Now I'm going to be making an entryway for the castle, so that's not where it's going to be ending up, but this is where a workspace for me to use. And what I'm using is little pieces of charcoal brick. The color, of course, matches the color of the castle, and I'm making a little entryway for it. I'm putting this on here so I know where the castle is going to be, and now I'm going to have to take the castle out so I can work. But I visualized where the castle is going to be, therefore I can start with my little bricks. And I'm going to make it into a herringbone pattern because I find that to be more interesting than just straight. Place the castle on the finished walkway. Add some remnant pieces for atmosphere. After all, they probably broke away from this walkway centuries ago. Pylons are easy to make. Cut a 1/4-inch square piece of balsa wood into 3 different lengths. I've stained it while it was still in a long strip. Measure how long you want them before cutting. Balsa wood is softer than basswood, therefore it's easier to cut, but more importantly for this project, it distresses easily to create a battered look. Distress it with an X-Acto knife. Join the pylon pieces together with hot glue.